you doing, everybody? My name is Katie Paris. I'm the founder of Red Wine and Blue. We are the women who power Sweep, the community, of course, that was formerly known as Suburban Housewives against, please don't mind me say his name anymore. Moving on. We wanted to connect with you guys tonight. I mean, these last 48 hours, these last 4 years have been hard. I mean, there was Georgia. There was this extreme high, right? I mean, it finally felt like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have won. We're going to have the first Black senator from Georgia ever, the first Jewish senator from the South. I felt really good in the middle of the night. I guess that was early Wednesday morning. And then the events of yesterday, an insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. And I just think it makes it especially difficult when our reserves are depleted. I know so many of you worked so hard in the 2020 election and then just kept it going straight through this Georgia runoff. And the thing that can be, I think, so hard about these experiences, I mean, what happened yesterday alone is enough, but to come into it, you're expecting to feel amazing after what happened in Georgia, because that was amazing. And then when we don't quite feel that way, there's this disconnect. There's been this sense of whiplash. And what's so true is that often after we've been working so hard for something and we achieve an outcome that we've been seeking, it doesn't actually feel as good as we'd hope, even if something terrible doesn't happen, because the adrenaline is gone. We have been pushing through the stress every day with that adrenaline, and then it's no longer with us. And that's why sometimes, has this happened to you? We even can get sick. We can feel ill because our body gives in because we're just tired. So on top of this exhaustion, we then have something very scary, unprecedented. You hear that word all the time, but happened in our nation's capital. And I know for me, the whiplash has resulted in, at moments, feeling like all I want to do is like hug my kids and hunker down and shut everything else out. I mean, not even always just like hug my kids. It's more just like hide under the table, you know? I've had those moments. And then that's not the only feeling I have, though. Because those moments are real and those moments are there. But the other moments I'm having are these, I want to fight. I want to fight hard, because what this has also shown me is that confirmation of all the things that I have learned and what I know that if the insurrectionists at the Capitol looked less like me, if they were Black and brown people, if they were Muslim, what went down yesterday would have been really different. I know that this is not just about Donald Trump. And that makes me want to fight. And it also reminds me that in that fight, I have hope, and that's because of all of you. It is. Some of you have been fighting for a really long time. I'm going to bring on some of the women that I've been fighting with, who are always there for me in just a minute. Some of you have been at this for a really long time, and others of you have become involved just in the last few years. And what gives me hope is that we're all here now. We're all here now together, and there's real power and need for our voices. And we're going to need to stay engaged. And I am grateful for that opportunity, to have that opportunity to do something and to do it with all of you. So I asked a few of the women who have been sort of my core troublemaker team to come on and join me and talk about some of this tonight. Because without them, it's not happening. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi. So this is Julie. Each of you guys introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Julie Collins. I'm an organizer with Red Wine and Blue, and just really excited to be here.
I'm Julie also. I'm Julie Womack, though. I am the organizing director for Red, Wine, and Blue. I am down in Cincinnati. I've been watching comments, so I know there's other Ohio people watching us. So Julie and I are Ohio girls.
Yes.
Oh, and Susan. And
Susan.
Hi, Ohio girl. Yes, Cleveland girl. And I've been working with the ladies now for almost a year, but doing some work before that. So, which we can talk about.
Yeah. So, Red, Wine, and Blue is based in Ohio. That's where we started. And, I started Red, Wine, and Blue in 2019, as you guys all know the story. But, things just sort of exploded for us. Suburban women played a huge role in the 2020 election, and things caught on. And so that's how this community of women became bigger and bigger. And that is what gives us, though, the privilege, this amazing position to be in now, to be able to do something in this moment. The amount of disinformation out there that has fomented and caused real, people sometimes talk about this like, lies and attacks and misinformation on the internet. Oh, it's just on the internet. It's not a problem, right?
Yeah.
This was a direct result of
it is.
Right.
what's been fomented.
And it's still going on.
Yeah.
Oh, and you still see the comments today of people who are saying things that make no sense, that have no basis in fact, and this is after this occurred. So it's still going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And it will. We just need to acknowledge that this will continue, and the only thing that will stop it is all of us engaging, and more of us engaging, and all of us engaging our networks, because the other side absolutely thrives on our fatigue. Yes. And our disengagement. Yeah. The moment we just go, oh, it's all too much, it's just the internet, right? So you guys, I just wanted to talk, I think that there's so much that we have done together, and there's so much more that we can do together here as a bigger community. But I wanted to talk about what are the core things. I always talk about how community is the prerequisite to action. How do you guys have had in each of your communities this incredible experience of connecting with other women, but just talk about that, how, it's not, ultimately you all have made huge change in your communities and done amazing things with women there, but you all have always talked about how it starts with those connections between women and those friendships, and how fundamental and core that is to it even beginning. Talk about that.
Well, I was going to say, I think you feel overwhelmed if you feel like you're alone, right? So you're upset at what's going on. You don't know what to do about it. But if you make those connections with people who have those same feelings and feel the same way, and you have someone to talk to, you have someone to plan with, and then someone who supports you, because I have always found that when I'm upset, talking and doing something about it is what really makes me feel better. And to have women who have your back, who are like, you can go make that phone call to your representative, or you can go talk at that meeting, or you can do, whatever it is that you're comfortable with. Right. I think that's the community that you need to help you get through times like this.
I also think it helps keep down that misinformation piece we were just, that you just mentioned, because you're together, you are researching and, making sure that you're, have the correct information in front of you. And it just really kind of, yesterday was a whole psychology case and mob rule and all of that, just, it was the worst of humanity in a lot of ways. Whereas what we do with our sisterhood and our, and our different groups that we belong to is when we're supporting one another, we're also educating one another, and we all move forward together in a better place. And, and you don't see, roving groups of women doing those kinds of things. We usually are way more productive than that because we have
our research. Doing our research, yeah.
Well, did you guys see that today? I saw it a couple of times. Someone posted, they're like, when women got mad after 2016, we knitted pink hats and donated to Planned Parenthood. That's what we did, which I thought was pretty funny.
It's so true about women getting together and just like there's nothing that we can't conquer, and it is all based, I think, on that women seek connection from one another, and they say we want to ask each other, like, is this right? Am I getting this right? Do you see it differently? Let's figure this out together. And I also think that piece about reminding each other of our own power. I mean, what is it? Emily's List says a woman has to be asked 7 times to run for office. For guys, it's like, I think 0, actually maybe 1, and so, but it's just that we've got to have, when we have each other's back, so we're completely unstoppable. But it is that reminder that you know more than you think, you have more power than you think. And just, fundamentally the friendships, every time I meet new networks of women who have become involved, like really since 2016, or, if it's been longer than that too. And I'll ask, like, oh, have you guys known each other since college?
Right.
Like women in their 50s or something, and they're like, oh no, we met like last year, but it's just like the friendships over working on this stuff together and connecting over shared values. It's like, there's some vulnerability and realness there, right? Because all of this stuff just like gets to the core of who we are. We're doing all this because we really care a lot.
It's a really deep level of connection. We're really connected to one another in a deep way because we have those values are like super important in what drive us. And so, when you have shared values, you're, moving towards that same space together. So it just, I just think it makes a deeper connection that does make it look like you've been together for years.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's true. Like your friendships from high school and college that kind of have maintained are probably because you have shared values. Well, when you're doing things like this, connecting over these issues, you're immediately finding people with shared values. So it's just like a shortcut to friendship, right? I mean, you already have that. And I mean, I literally have met, I think since I started doing more politically since 2016, I have an entire set of friends that I did not know 4 years ago. And they're now some of my closest friends. It's just those connections and that support and all of that wrapped into it. Like Katie's right. Like you would have thought we were like best friends from college a long time ago. So.
I tell people, if it weren't for, I can't say his name, like I have 100 really good girlfriends, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, I think we're really good friends. And because the community that brings you together, I went from first gear into 5th, like bang. And you just feel so close to these women because of your values, and you're kind of clawing your way in this fight together, but you do have each other's backs. And most of the 100 friends I've made are really fun.
That's really fun. And like people you can be real with and like just share how you're actually feeling. And I just think that is like the moment that we try to deny like all of the hard stuff that we're feeling right now and pretend that doesn't exist and just power through, like that is the moment. I mean, we might be effective for a hot second, but no, that is like that stuff will just bury us, will just like pull us down. And so when we can be this source of connection, like every load is lighter if you can share it with others, right? And I feel that sense again and again. Every time I talk to you guys, I'm like, I can come into, you've seen me, like, oh gosh, and then I talk to you guys and it's like, I got this. So I think that's a cycle we just have to be able to repeat for each other. And what I want to say to everyone who sees this is just like, please hear our invitation. It's been such an amazing experience. I feel like I have it almost every day connecting with women in our community who, it's like, it starts with like a quick DM asking a question. The next thing I know, I'm like learning all about their lives. And it's just every woman, you all have amazing stories, and there is real opportunity for connection here, particularly when we're so limited in our physical abilities to connect with each other. Like this is it. So let's hang tight.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm doing that because before the pandemic, like I had met people online, never in person. Like Susan, I still have never met Julie in person, and I met Susan. Yeah, we've never met in person because Corona. But yeah, so I had not met Susan in person, but I knew people from her community too, just from being online with like red, wine, and blue communities. And I got to go up there, and it's like they're my best friends as soon as I walk in the room because I've talked to them all. And that's why I was excited too on my phone, looking at all the people watching us right now from like all over the country. So now I've met people, and I'm like, oh, if I ever go to Georgia, I know people I can go hang out with. And if I ever go to Alaska too, we got a couple of Alaska people.
Oh,
so.
I love it.
But connecting online is great, but we also connect on Zoom and get together. So that's something that we are doing. And Tuesday, Julie and I are actually going to host an event. So if we know that at this point, a lot of people just want to chat, meet other people. Online talking is great, but if you want to come and do as close as you can get in this world to face, come Tuesday at 7:30, and we're just going to chat and talk and meet wonderful new ladies.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
that's great. And
these ladies are great. I've had a couple of ladies in the community who actually checked in on me today to make sure that I was okay after yesterday's events. And, I've never met these ladies face to face, but we've just become close from doing red, wine, and blue.
I love that. It's so good to hear that. And, this is something that's been going on for a while now. I mean, Julie and you guys have probably hosted 100 of these Zoom parties, offering all kinds of opportunities for action and getting involved, and helping women tap into their networks and sharing all kinds of content and messaging and getting out the word about whether it's candidates or issues or whatever else. So these ladies know what they're doing here. They're fun, and I hope to join too. So that's going to be Tuesday night. It'll be one of many. There's a lot of work to do. So it all starts with these connections between each other. The other thing I wanted to hit on, you guys, is that I do think it's important, and something I've seen in the power of this community is the ability to find women in your own local community. Sure, we're not like hooking up, at the coffee shop in person right now. But that doesn't mean that we don't have something that we share because, we live in the same communities. I think that something that many women who've become involved, something that really hits us hard is, oh my gosh, I didn't even know who my state representatives were. I didn't know, what was going on that impacts me so much in my own local community, and kind of, learning about that and going through that process with other women who are in your community can be really empowering. And just that sense of isolation, right?
Yeah.
In one sense, it's so powerful to connect with people all across the country because you feel that sense of movement, and that's exciting. But also, I think to combat that sense of isolation, being able to find people in your local community is powerful. So how did you guys do that? Susan, how did you go about that? What advice would you have for women who want to do that here?
You would be amazed, like when you just start talking, and again, now it's harder because we're talking 6 feet away and through a mask and maybe on the other side of the street. But when you start talking to our group started with basically ladies on my street and ladies in my neighborhood and the lady in the backyard. And we all just started talking like, we have to, after 2016, we've got to do something. What can we do? What can we do? Took us a while to find our footing. But I would suggest just talking to your friends, because now I think it's easier for women to communicate, and they don't need so much egging on. Before it was like, I don't know if I should say this or not. And I think the last 4 years have blown that up entirely.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Like people I know kind of okay are coming up to me, and they're just like laying it all out on the line, especially after yesterday. But I would say just ask around, ask your friends, and then come to visit. Put the call out on Sweep or the Red, Wine, and Blue page and see who's from your area. I live in Cleveland. I live on the west side of Cleveland. We started our group with about a dozen ladies. Now we've had 250. We meet once a month now on Zoom. We meet in person. We have topics. And next week, we're going to talk about our goals for the coming year, which are pretty much state and local issues. We have municipal elections coming up, so we're focused on that. But you would be surprised how many people think like you do. You may think you're the only one, you're not.
And Julie, you are
100%.
down in a really red part of the state. And we have a lot of women who often talk about, like, I feel so alone. I mean, it's so conservative around here. And I know you felt that way, right? Like before you reached out. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You feel like when you live in a conservative area that you can't say stuff because it's socially unacceptable or that you're going to be ostracized. And so people just kind of hide. And, what happened after 2016 down here was somebody started a secret Facebook group. And all she did was take, her few friends that she knew felt like her, put them in there. I mean, we're at over 600 now in my very conservative red area of the state of Ohio. And it really just started with her adding like 5, I don't remember the exact number, but it was not a large number, like 5 to 10 people. But they know their little friends who are kind of hiding, and then they know other people, and it just continued. It just grew. And like I said, I now have friends that I did not know 4 years ago who are close friends, and we really have each other's back on doing stuff. And we've been called troublemakers in our town now because we are trying to take things up. So, right. So you guys can totally, even if you feel like you're alone, I guarantee you are not. If you go on any of the communities like Sweep or any of our Facebook pages and you say that, and you will see other women saying that exact same thing. I am so alone where I am. You're not. I guarantee there are other people who feel just like you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching the feed right now, and ladies are making connections as we are talking. I mean, and it's all over the country. This is like so really cool to watch. I've seen ladies in Florida and ladies in California and ladies in Ohio. I mean, everybody is, who's from New Hampshire? Who's, So this is really cool to watch.
So cool. I mean, yes, like ladies, use this space, and keep in mind, there are hundreds, actually thousands sometimes of posts per day in Sweep. So sometimes it can take time for our moderators. We have 20 who are admins and moderators who are going through this stuff, but it takes time to get through all of this. And they work really hard to make this be a safe, healthy, and strong space for everyone. So that means like making sure there's not a lot of duplicates and making sure that in these posts that they're original, that we're really hearing your voices rather than, becoming just a place for memes and stuff like that. So, but these are the kinds of posts. I mean, I've just seen the community thrive off of these things, when you all share your stories and seek connection. And that's the way to do it. I mean, that's been my experience, like by sharing my story, what I'm experiencing. And then you find other people who are experiencing just that too. Even like Julie said, right where you are at the moment, you might think you are most alone. And maybe it's even at that moment where you are feeling most alone that you need to seek that sense of connection most, because that is the only way through this. It is. It's the one thing I know. The only way through the stuff that's hard is together. But we have to be willing to reach out to each other.
Well, I'm a numbers girl during the day, and I just wanted to, reiterate what you just said, that we have what a sweetie, we have over 230,000 ladies in this group, and over half of you engage with us every single day, and we only have 20 ladies who are moderating. Please be patient. If you put something through and you haven't seen it yet or whatever, please be patient. And if you see somebody else saying something not patient, say, hey, look how many of there's only 20 of them and so many of us.
230,000.
Yeah.
But also just do not hesitate with these posts that are seeking connection. We will make sure.
Yeah. Those always get through quick.
Yeah.
As quick as we can get to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So the last thing I really want to, and it's a big thing, so I'm not going to rush it too much, is that people are, okay, so some of you, like right now, what you need to do is process things. You need to reach out to the people in your life that give you strength. You need to find grounding right now. And that is the place you need to be. And if that's where you need to be right now, just cut this off right now. Because now we're going to talk about ways to, like stay engaged, stay in the conversation with us. But we're going to move a little bit more into, ways to be active with Red, White, and Blue in particular, and the power we have in this community. But the reality is that all of us we need to support each other. And at different moments, you got to take breaks. You got to be able to step back and communicate that to whoever you might be in it with. And we will hold the note for you. We will, and if I need a break, I know these ladies will do that for me too. And that's what it means. Like, that's where the big payoff really comes in the sisterhood of the community. Okay, but we did want to talk about, because we do have so much power together, and a lot of you are asking, I want to do more, I want to engage. And so we want to encourage you to get involved locally, to be involved in your communities, to organize in the ways that feel right for you. And at Red, White, and Blue, we're not your typical political organization. We're just not. We're not going to be the ones who send you a petition to sign like every 5 minutes. Like, really, just like that's not our thing. And there are a lot of organizations that do that kind of thing, and that's cool. Our thing is helping you, women, tap into the power of your voice and your network. And we do that in a couple of ways. We really believe in the power of friend to friend organizing rather than stranger to stranger. So that means that what we know, and studies show this too, okay, there's like science behind this as well, but it just makes intuitive sense too. Like, the power you have is in your network. Like, when you tell someone you know something or you share a piece of information, they trust it more. This is how we combat this minefield of disinformation and information that isn't trusted out there. That's just the world we live in right now. There's a lot of bad info, but you all can be sources. That's something I hear everyone loves about our community the most. Like, I know I can come here and trust what I'm reading, and this is a smart space and an honest space. And so we believe that the power that we all have is in being these trusted messengers to our own networks. There's so much power in that. So we do that in a couple ways. One, it basically comes down to creating content with all of you. And some of you have been really involved with us in this. We did it in Ohio and made a huge impact in the 2020 elections. Basically, listening to women share their stories about how issues and related to the election and impacted their lives. And we helped them create powerful videos that we turned into ads that were viewed by hundreds of thousands of women voters. And we know that it influenced them. And we want to keep doing that again and again across the country on things that matter. And part of how we decide what matters is by listening to all of you. What concerns you? What are you hearing? And knowing that if we listen and we hear your personal stories, that's ultimately what's going to make a difference. Like, stats don't move people. Like, I wish it was enough to hear that killer fact, that number, and like, that's going to change the world. But we know everybody just argues back with some other fact. And so what moves people is personal connection and stories. So we want to hear your stories. In Ohio, we did this. Our demo of women voters, we were trying to influence swung to Biden by 37 points. There was power in stories, you guys. And then the other piece that we do also is training, just to like help you guys up your game, but like the fun kind of training. Okay. Like, maybe not your typical political organizer stuff. Again, that's good and it's out there. But we are all about helping you guys really understand, well, how do I do this tap into my network thing? Like, I don't know about talking to people I know about this stuff. We're here to help you give confidence, and like the kinds of things that Julie and Susan and Julie have been hosting on Zoom over the last year to help women out. So you guys, talk about like what you guys have all been in this content. You all have been the stars of these videos. What has that experience been for you guys? Julie Collins, you're smiling. Wait, you're all smiling now. You're all, I mean, this is a good experience. And we did it in Georgia too. We just had a lot of Georgia women participate in our content. We turned into these ads targeting voters. All right.
Yeah,
Julie Collins, go ahead.
I think we have a lot of fun creating these things and putting this stuff together. We have a great creative team that, comes up with this crazy stuff for us to do. And they tell us what to send to them, and we do it, and then they clip it together and make the magic. The last one that we did, the All I Want for Christmas Is You, with the Warnock and Ossoff parody kind of thing. That was really a lot of fun. And I try to be a diva in all of the ones that I do. I really do try to diva.
You don't have to try that hard, Julie Collins. Come on.
Well, because I'm here at home. I've been home since March. You know, this is my outlet. So I think I've had a great deal of fun with that. But I mean, it's really, it's people love sharing that stuff with the crazy things we do with their friends. It goes, you know, all over Twitter, all over Instagram, you know, and, you know, I don't know who all has seen the, you know, videos until they start saying, oh, I saw that one and we loved it. I think our most famous one is the Cory Booker and Beto one. Them coming to the suburbs, you know.
Yay, I'm still waiting.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. I'm still waiting. Earlier today, actually, because I saw Cory speaking. So, you know, but I mean, we have a lot of fun with that. And, you know, we're always looking for ladies who would like to do some of that crazy stuff with us. It's not really hard to do at all. And we would love to have some fresh faces and some new talent, as they say.
Yeah, I love the mix. I mean, some of the content, I mean, some of the videos are just a lot of fun and like really funny. And then, I mean, if I do say so myself, and then some of them are like really powerful, like sharing women's stories about, you know, whether it's changing your mind on an issue or how something has dramatically impacted your life. So please share those stories, and we are listening. And, you know, we'll ask for, you know, like for example, something I've been thinking a lot about is, you know, we have got to get this vaccine rolling and have people, you know, having confidence in this vaccine. And how can we make sure that we're all confident in answering people's questions about this? And maybe there is some stories that we can share about how we have been able to help, you know, friends and family members become more confident, or maybe even how some of us changed our mind on it. And there's just so many. There are a lot of issues on which, you know, we know that women in this community are struggling to communicate with those in their networks, and there's a lot of powerful stories there. But Julie W., did I cut you off? Did you want to?
Oh no, I was just going to say that I know I have never had a woman who I have asked to do a video who ever regretted it. Like, they always at the end say, that was so much fun. It's so much fun to see it online. It's fun to watch how many views you're getting, you know? So I'm just saying, it's always been a really fabulous experience. So I hope you guys don't hesitate. When I first started working for Red, Wine, and Blue, and Katie Beverly, our digital director, was like, you need to make this video. I was like, I have to do what? And it's like, it is, I have never once, it's always been fun and amazing. And everything looks great in the end. Like, the digital department is amazing with how they make us look fabulous. So yeah,
Julie's
I hope you guys.
Julie's favorite backdrop is Target. Actually, she does most of her videos there, so it's her favorite place. So you can do it from your favorite place too.
I've gone from being like, I don't know about being in a video, to literally like video with a selfie stick in Target. People, if I can do that, we can do that.
Yeah. There's real power in this stuff.
You know, you guys, I think I forgot to tell you one of our videos we made, and I can't tell you which one because it would give it away. But one of our state's elected representatives sent me a message and said, "You don't know how many times I've watched it. I live for this video." Because we might have been making fun of another elected representative. I'm not going to name names. But that just made my year. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm not surprised by that. That was a good
video. It was, yeah. It was a highlight moment for sure.
For sure. All right. Well, look, ladies, we heard a lot about suburban women in the headlines this year, you know, and we were part of a coalition that made a huge difference in this election. And we've got to continue to own that power. Absolutely. We have to step up. Mm-hmm. No going back to sleep. You know, and again, when you got to go tap out for a minute, that's fine. We're all here. We'll be here when you get back. But we just wanted to take a moment in this moment that has been like no other. Something it feels like we've had to say too many times in the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. But we can't predict what's ahead of us, except for that it won't all be easy. There's going to be a lot more hard, even once we get past January 20th.
Right.
Because that's life. That's life in a pandemic, especially.
Right.
So I just want to make a promise to, just stay in this, knowing that you guys have my back. And I want to say to you guys, I've got your back. And I want to send that same message out to everyone who's with us tonight, too. Thank you for being with us, everyone. Thank you,
Don't
Julie.
forget to join us next week.
Yes, and we do this pretty much all Thursday nights. Sometimes the time wiggles around a little bit, but mostly we're here.
And check out the page for Tuesday night. Come see us Tuesday night. We'll just do all these connections.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Okay, thanks for joining me, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Bye.